Hey everyone, back for another weekly outlook. So today is Monday, what is today? Monday the 24th of October. So, like I've been saying in the last few videos, the market's been pretty messy, especially last week. Just look at these wicks here on EJ. You know, on Friday we saw a lot of manipulation, especially on JPY pairs. Like this whole candle here on the 4 hour is almost a 450 pip candle almost. And then coming in the market close of last week, market open this week, we've seen more manipulation of around 300 pip moves in one candle. So very, very messy overall. I know a lot of you guys who are still learning message me through Instagram. You guys are obviously struggling right now with the market. Guys, patience pays off, okay? Not every day you have to trade. Sometimes not even every week, okay? There are going to be really, really easy and clean times in the market. There's also going to be very messy and a lot of volatility manipulation in the market. So, you have to take the good with the bad with trading. All right, if you need help, if you need guidance on the market, the mentorship program is still open for enrollment. So I do share, live updates, live entries, signals, trade management, all of that within the program. There are still spots left if you want to take part in that. But let's have a look at some news first for this week, along with some pairs. So there's about 5 or 6 pairs I'm going to break down today. All right, having a look at the calendar first. All right, so coming into this week, we do have a lot of news, which is really, really good. Now, there's only a few news events that we want to be aware of, but we do have a lot of news, which is good because that means we should see some good movement in the market, right? Now, coming into tomorrow being Tuesday, really not much at all during London. We do have some Euro news, but nothing really crazy. No news at all during New York, and then we have a lot of news coming out during the Asian session. In particular, we do want to be aware of the inflation rate along with CPI news, okay? Going into Wednesday, some USD news, no news at all during London. And then at the New York Open, we have some USD news, some CAD news, and more USD news. Out of all this, we just want to be aware of the interest rate decision for CAD. That usually will bring some movement and maybe some manipulation with it. Going into Thursday, a lot of news on Thursday and Friday. In particular, a lot of Euro news. Okay, again, most of the stuff we don't really need to be aware of. Or even kind of worried about, okay? But we do want to be aware of the ECB interest rate decision coming out just before the New York Open. And then we also want to be aware of GDP growth rate for the US dollar shortly after at the New York Open, along with in the Asian session, we do have JPY interest rates. So there's a good amount of news coming out, a few we need to be aware of. But most of it, nothing really. And then going into Friday, this is where things might be a little bit hectic, okay? During the London session, we have GDP growth rate coming out for the Euro, along with inflation, more GDP growth rate, CPI, like a lot, right? So the Euro is probably going to be pumping on London for Friday. A lot of manipulation, most likely. Then we have a lot of news coming out here, and then again at 4 a.m., so about an hour or two after this, we have more inflation rate, then we have CPI, and then more. So Euro is going to be maybe a little volatile this week, so just be aware of that, okay? Make sure you have your stop loss in, use proper risk management. If you want to reduce risk, it probably wouldn't hurt, okay? But that's up to you. Having a few pairs, okay? So Euro JPY, this pair is still very bullish, okay? A lot of JPY pairs are still very, very bullish for the most part. This thing is just on a rocket, okay? We're at highs that we've not really seen since back in 2014, 2013, 2014. Like, it's just crazy. Going up to the 4 hour, okay, I am personally looking for sells. However, I'm cautious of this because it's just so bullish. And I would need to see some pretty significant price action for me to really want to sell this low. Or I might take like a short-term sell, maybe back down into 146 region, or if possible, back down to like 144.5. In order for me to want to take that, I would need to see some good price action here. Like maybe some nice rejection at this level, and then we can look for a move down to 146.2, 146, and then maybe back, like I said, back down to 144 region, 144.5. Okay, so I would suggest watching for some clean hourly or 2 hour price action here. Just because a lot of pairs are so messy, I am being a bit more cautious, trying to use more higher time frame stuff right now. Just to avoid any manipulation wicks. So yeah, watching price here. Again, if price does, you guys know I always have to give two sort of outlooks on the pair because there's a difference between a setup and a trade. Like right now, I am looking for sells. That doesn't mean I'm going to take a sell, right? Price could blow through this level, and then if that doesn't play out, then I could look for something like this, a clean break and retest of 147.2 region to then take this right up in like 148.5, 149. Okay, like I said, I do overall see this going higher, but keep in mind, just because a pair is very, very bullish and you see it going higher, doesn't mean it's not going to have, you know, short-term sell options available, because it could easily push right back down to here before seeing an overall move higher, right? So, you know, a move from this level here, if it was to play out, I'd be looking at something like a nice little 1 to 3 to here, and then maybe even like a 1 to 6 or 1 to 7 to here. So watching price closely, but again, if it doesn't give an entry here for a sell and it just kind of blows through, then you guys know to look for the possible buy setup. Euro AUD. Now I'm actually currently monitoring for possible sells from this level. I need to see a little bit more. Again, this pair is pretty bullish right now. Very, very bullish, but like I said on EJ, this doesn't mean that we can't see a pullback on this pair. All right, so I'm really interested to see what this does at the beginning of this week, because we are seeing like a daily double top here at 1.565, 1.57 region. Go to the 4 hour here. I mean, this whole level has been tested pretty significantly, so I would like to see, you know, some nice hourly or 2 hour price action here for a possible sell. Now, again, I'm not saying this thing is going to drop, you know, and make, you know, a complete reversal, but we could see something like this, for example. You know, a nice little move back down into 155, 200. It did make like a move below this level here and has not retested it. So we could always see a short-term sell into here for a nice 1 to 5. And if it breaks past that, we could even see a move down to 154.2, which from there, I would expect to see this continue higher. So we could see something like this for a move higher from there, which means you could look for a possible hedge from this level. So you could then take the sell down into here and then look for the possible buy hedge from here to then take it higher with the overall trend. Otherwise, it breaks through this level, like I said, and maybe comes down into here for a move higher, and then you could, again, make the nice little 1 to 7, 1 to 8, and then possibly buy it from there, right? Otherwise, like I said, I always give you guys two options, because the market doesn't always do exactly what we want. If this doesn't, if this sell setup doesn't come to play out, then we could look for a clean break retest to take this up into 150. I mean, I honestly believe if we're going to break this level, I think we'll see 157, 800, 158 very easily. Very, very easily. So that would be my overall buy target. But again, we need a bit more price action for that to play out. So I'm currently monitoring for the possible sell from here. But we'll see what we get. AUD CAD is another pair. Last week I said for you guys to look for possible buys from this level. That played out very nicely. Big candles though, so you had to be kind of entering off the lower time frames for that. Like I said, last week was a lot of volatility, a lot of really fast moves, a lot of fake outs. October's been somewhat tough. You know, I like to be very transparent with my trading. You know, a 30, a 40, or 50% month profit-wise, assuming 1% risk, of course. So a 30 to 50% month is very standard for me. You know, I'm pretty consistent overall, but again, I like to be transparent. October's been pretty much a break-even month for the most part. At least for me. You know, I predominantly swing trade. I don't do any day trading. I'm very, you know, I stick to my trading plan. I'm very strict. And because price hasn't really been moving, there's really not much. I've had a few wins, a few losses, and a million break evens. Not that many, but I've had quite a few break evens just because the market isn't really doing much. That doesn't, you know, that's not really a reflection of me or my trading. It's just a reflection of the market. Right now, the market's not doing much. As we can clearly see, most pairs look like this. And if you're a swing trader, this is a hard market to be in, because, you know, I want 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000 pip, 2,000 pip moves. I don't want 50 pip moves. That just doesn't do it for me. So, you know, like I always say, the market has good months and bad months. So far, it's been pretty messy, but, you know, things are definitely looking much better, in my opinion, leading into this week. So, like I said, AUD CAD did give a possible buy. Again, you have to be in the lower time frames. Not something I personally would have traded. So, we are looking for possible buys from here. Okay, those of you in the mentorship program, we've already covered this. What I would suggest looking for is something like this on the 30-minute, 1 hour, or 2 hour. If it can come down, give some nice pin bars, bullish rejection, that would definitely be enough entry for a price action. Now, this pair is overall very bearish. Okay, we have to understand that. But again, in order for like these swings to happen, price has to come back up. So don't always assume that because it's a bearish market, you can't be buying it. And it does appear to be bottoming out here, right? We're failing to break past this 0.86 thousand region here. And, you know, multiple tests on the 4 hour here. So I'm looking for a reason to buy this from this level. But of course, you know, like I said earlier, what we could see if this buy setup doesn't play out, we could always see something like this. to then go lower. I don't think that will happen just because of what the higher time frames are showing. But again, you know, I'm never married to a bias. So I could be looking for a buy now, but then on Tuesday or Wednesday, once I get more price action, I could be easily looking for a sell. So we'll see what we get, okay? But definitely keep an eye on this level here, guys, for the possible move higher. If we do, target-wise, if this does respect this level and we see the move higher, first target is 0.87 thousand region, and then from there, I'd be looking at it going up to 0.87800, if not higher, okay? So, you know, a move from here down into back up into here, that's a nice little, almost a 2.7, not really anything crazy, but it's really this I'd be looking for is a nice little 1 to 5. Okay, so we'll see what we get. Definitely watching this. USD Swiss, USD pairs are pretty messy right now. Obviously, you know, the markets in general are pretty messy. The dollar especially is kind of all over the place. But I am essentially looking for possible sells from here. I really don't have much to say on this pair right now. I would prefer to wait for this to kind of pull up into this region here if I can, or back down into here. But if I was looking for sells from here, I would definitely be looking for something like this on the hourly. Okay, something like this on the hourly would give a really nice sell, possibly, if it was to respect. Of course, use DXY for correlation. If it was to maybe come up and do something like this, you could see the sell play out on USD Swiss. Okay, last pair I want to cover is EU. Currently above structure, so what I'm looking for here is a pullback into this level, 0.98500, for a possible buy to take this higher. Okay, but again, I mean, EU has been very, very messy, very, very difficult to trade. Well, not really difficult, but just messy. You know, it hasn't really done much. If you look at like the last few days, like this is like the last 2 weeks of price action, it hasn't really done much. You know, it's really just kind of gone down, then up, down, then up, down, then up, then back down. It's just kind of all over the place. But I would, if I was trading this pair, I don't really trade this pair that often. I would be looking for something like this to take this up into this 1,000 level here, which is a big level for this pair. So even a nice trade, you know, from this region here would be a nice little, easily a 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. Yeah, nice little 1 to 5. So in order for that to happen, what I would want to see here is this on DXY, because a move lower on DXY generally will mean a move higher on EU overall, because they are negatively correlated. And I think it's quite high. I think it's like negative 97%, 96%, because DXY is the euro weighted against the dollar, which is exactly what euro USD is, right? So that's what I'm looking for there, guys. Okay. I will be posting in the public Discord as our setups begin updating. Those of you of the mentorship students who are in the public Discord as well, remember, guys, I added all the coordinates for the zones on these pairs in the extra tab I created in the mentorship program for the public Discord channel. So that way you guys have the exact coordinates, so that way your zones match and you understand why I plotted them the way that I did. And yeah, you guys know what to look for. Okay, so send me your setups as you take them, and we can chat about them and break them down in the mentorship program. As for the rest of you who are not in the mentorship program, guys, I appreciate all the messages. Keep trading. Just make sure you guys keep your risk management on point, okay? You know, like I keep saying, there's good times, there's bad times in the market. What really matters is overall consistency, okay? You're going to have win streaks, you're going to have break-even streaks, and you're even going to have losing streaks. It's about how you are consistent overall, and that way you're always going to stay ahead. You know, all it takes is maybe a few good trades a month, and you can make a shitload of money, all right? But it comes down to consistency in all areas, both the wins and losses. So have a great week, guys. I'll update more in the public Discord as our pairs begin to line up. And of course, I'll be posting another video on Wednesday with more breakdowns on our pairs and setups. Thanks, guys.